Hello and welcome to Love at Lunch. I am your host, Leona Devin, and author of Finding Your Joy Spot, your textbook for helping you create more joy. You won't really notice it's a textbook, it's way more fun, but it's built on the science and framework and the skills and techniques of flourishing. 40 years of research. So today we're going to talk about sleep. And what does sleep have to do with joy? Everything. When was the last time that you had the most joyful, flourishing day filled with all of the good feels and productivity and engagement after not sleeping? Probably not ever. So sleep is the foundation of well-being, and we need some good, precious sleep. And sometimes it is evasive and elusive and it is not around. I hear ya. I struggle with insomnia, and so lately I have been finding all of the research around sleep. Sleep is incredibly important. So a lot of people think, oh, I don't need that much sleep. That's great. But science says that 95% of people need between 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. And if you think you are in that 5% of people that need maybe 4 or 5, the 5% is maybe slightly under 7 hours of sleep. So we need sleep. The optimal is to be in bed for 8 hours a night. A couple things we want to think about: sleep quality. We want to think about, do we have trouble falling asleep? Do we wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and have trouble falling asleep again? We want to soothe our nervous system so we can sleep better. And then in the morning, create a few more opportunities for joy. So here are some stats from the book Why We Sleep. And it says that people who sleep 6 or less hours a night are 200 to 300% more likely to suffer calcification of their coronary arteries over the next 5 years. Think heart attack. Big and brutal. It also shows that short sleep was associated with more than a 45% greater risk of fatal or non-fatal heart disease throughout a very robust longitudinal study. Longitudinal means that it's over a long period of time, and they also weeded out the people who did not have healthy lifestyles outside of that. So smokers, sedentary people, were weeded out of that study, and just sleep deprivation alone showed really adverse side effects. A hotspot for the brain processing emotion is in our amygdala, and we have a 60% increase in emotional reactivity when we are sleep deprived. We have all experienced that. You want to get a little grumpy or a little reactive, have some stress occur on a day that you haven't slept very well, and you just don't respond the same way. Values, whoo, forget about it. Integrity, whoops, forgot. Whoop, found it back. So sleep is our friend, but it can be tough. I am 51 and I got some hormone issues perhaps starting. And so we want to see what is the actual science of sleep. So sleep hygiene is a really good idea. Going to bed within an hour of the same time and getting up within an hour of the same time, 7 days a week. Okay. We want to work with our circadian rhythm. So our circadian rhythm is a 24-hour clock that our body naturally operates on. And so we want to find some ways to really tap into that. And so science shows us the only part of our brain matter that is actually outside our brain is in a portion of our eyes. And that needs some sunlight early in the morning, within either a certain amount of time of you waking. So when you wake up and are available to view the sun, or within a couple hours, or within an hour or two of the sun actually rising. For some of us living in the northern part of North America, their circadian rhythm can be a little bit off because of the seasons. But right now, if you can get your eyeballs into the light, the sunlight, even if it's a cloudy day, you might have to have them exposed a little bit longer. That helps to immediately send a signal that our circadian rhythm is then set at that set point. So very, very easy. Within 2 to 3 days, most people will notice that their sleep is improving by getting sunlight, and it can be cloudy. You just need to stay out a little longer. 2 to 10 minutes a day within an hour of rising, or with an hour or a bit, depending on in Canada, the sun can rise quite early. But get your eyeballs into the sunlight, no joke. If you wear sunglasses or look at the light, natural daylight through a window, you need to 50 times the exposure. So you're better off standing on your front step, taking in a moment. And cloudy day, closer to 10 minutes, and a non-cloudy day, about 2 minutes of sunlight into your eyes. So no sunglasses, and do not look at it through the window. And you're not looking into the sun, you just want some sunlight. So leave your sunglasses at home, go on a quick little walk. If you're also having trouble with sleep, you can reset your circadian rhythm by exercising in the morning as well. Really good for your body, and it reminds your body to be active. Our brain receives signals from our body, as does our body from our brain. So we want to use that neurofeedback loop effectively. One of the things that peer-reviewed studies are showing, and why we say peer-reviewed is that anybody can say anything. So you want some other smart people looking at your study to say yay or nay. This is a yay study. People who are exposed to light between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. do not have the same amount of dopamine that is emitted. And dopamine is highly correlated, or a lack of dopamine is highly correlated with depressive states. When our dopamine is working well, we experience more joy, happiness, and contentment. So we want the dopamine. And so if you're going to be up after 11, no artificial light. If you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, night light, or keeping the door open. If you do have to have light, have them set low. Overhead lights activate a different part of the eye. And the eye has a lot to do with how we sleep. That's why we want to get that sunlight in during the right time of the day. Later in the afternoon or towards the evening when the sun is going down, or within an hour or two of the sun setting, then it's also a good idea to go outside again and get that diminishing light into your eye that resets kind of the clock in your brain. Again, about 2 to 10 minutes, depending on how bright the sun is, or if it's cloudy or extraordinarily smoky like it is today. So those are really important pieces, often overlooked, but they can make a difference in your sleep quality within about 2 to 3 days. Isn't that excellent? Now for an acronym. NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. We want to create opportunities so that we can reset the nervous system and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming part of our nervous system, so that we teach ourselves to rest without sleeping, so that we can, well, if you can't sleep, you can use these NSDRs in the middle of the night, which really help. But it also kind of resets your nervous system so that it's not constantly cranked up. So we need some non-sleep deep rest practices like meditation. There's something self-hypnosis, which is medical hypnosis. You're not going to be squawking like a chicken naked through your neighborhood. Do not panic. I have been practicing self-hypnosis with an app, which I will list below, the Reverie app, from a psychiatrist who has been studying this for a number of years out of Stanford. Again, really well reviewed. And self-hypnosis, I like a little bit of the meditation because it's a bit more focused. So it tells you what to focus on. And I need that. And it's very short. It's like 8 minutes. Yoga Nidra, which is basically sleep yoga without sleeping. And so I will post that below as well. And short naps, less than 20 to 30 minutes. Also, because we don't go into the deep part of sleep, is considered a non-sleep de-rest protocol. So consider adding those. And like always, just start small and see what you can do. And see also intuitively what appeals to you. Because if it doesn't appeal to you, it's not going to be helpful. Some supplements, and I am not a physician, so please consult your physician before considering taking any supplements. But again, research shows that magnesium threonate is helpful for sleep, and theanine is also helpful for sleep. So you can, with the guidance of your medical professional, take a look at those things. Not all magnesium is created equal or for the same things, and that is involved in that interacts with GABA production, and GABA is also a calming neurotransmitter that kind of wears out when we get stressed, and so these reinvigorate that. Low light and no screens within a couple hours of going to bed. Often that's that time we veg, we end up on social media or watching Netflix. Again, if you have no trouble sleeping, fill your boots. But if you have trouble sleeping, consider not having those screens. Those screens, the brain, again, it activates and it offsets this natural circadian rhythm. So if possible, read and do things, again, that are not stimulating for the brain. The eyes have a huge impact on how we sleep. So we want to reinforce the eye with that early morning light, no windows, no sunglasses, 2 to 10 minutes in the morning, 2 to 10 minutes later in the afternoon within about 1 to 2 hours of sunset to remind the brain, oh, this is our timing and our clock. So we really want to pay attention to that. Pay attention to what you eat and how how you sleep. For some people, having a snack that is higher in carbohydrates or fat before bed, nice combination could be like an apple and peanut butter, so you get a bit of that satiating quality of the fat and protein in the nut butter, and then lots of fiber in an apple. So pay attention, because sometimes if we're really hungry, that will have us wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning. And for some of us, it's better to go to bed and not have anything in our stomach, because that can also diminish the quality of sleep. But that's specific to people. So just pay attention to that. The beginning part of your sleep is more restorative than the later part of your sleep. So if you're someone that wakes up between 2 and 3 in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh, I've had no sleep. Go to bed earlier. Because if you are good at falling asleep earlier, then the quality of the sleep and the better off the impact is if we get that early sleep. So anything before 2 or 3 is really good quality. So if you're having trouble around that 2 or 3 times, you can do that non-sleep deep rest protocols, listening to an app like Insight Timer. It's free, has all kinds of sleep things on it. A Yoga Nidra guided meditation. You can do that self-hypnosis that I was mentioning. Really, really effective. And keep your room dark and cool. Our temperature changes when we sleep, and so we are meant to sleep in a cooler environment. It's very helpful for the quality of our sleep, and keep the room dark. Now, if you live here and it's a little bit warm at night and it's still sunny when you go to bed at 9 o'clock like me, then consider getting a comfortable eye patch or something like that, some high quality ear plugs to make your sleep more effective. So, quick little summation. Summation, is that a word? I think so. Go to bed and get up in the similar time, 7 days a week within an hour of that time. Exercise in the morning to restart your circadian rhythm. Sunlight in the eyes within an hour of the sun rising or you getting up. 2 to 10 minutes outdoors, no sunglasses. No light between the hours of 4 p.m. and 4 a.m. High correlation to depression, because dopamine receptors get screwed up at that time. So even if you go to the bathroom, try not to turn on the light or have a night light or something. Bright light will reset that rhythm and impact dopamine uptake. And dopamine is highly correlated with feelings of happiness, contentment, satisfaction, and joy. Develop a non-sleep deep rest protocol. Like I mentioned, meditation, hypnosis, short naps, yoga nidra, and you can consider taking some supplements and light exposure late in the day, 2 to 10 minutes within an hour or 2 of sunset, and low light in the evening, no screens if you have trouble sleeping, and pay attention to what you eat and how that impacts things, and what you drink. Alcohol and sleep are not a great combo. And keep your room dark and cool, and read an awesome book in the evening. You might just sleep better. Love you. Here's the love at lunch for all of you.